In the Pokrovsk direction, the Ukrainian Armed Forces are not allowing Russian occupiers to achieve success. This was reported today, January the 29th, on the air of the Freedom TV channel by Ukrainian Armed Forces officer Sergey Tsekhotsky. The Ukrainian Armed Forces are actually coping with their task. Why are they coping? Because the enemy, having a numerical advantage, is not achieving the desired success. Here, despite the fact that they are coming, more than 70 attacks every day, they are all being repelled, and each time the enemy is becoming smaller. The enemy is really demoralized, he said. According to the officer, in recent days, Russian occupiers have been surrendering with joy because they know that Ukraine complies with the rules of international humanitarian law. What is the enemy doing? They are practically not using equipment now because, firstly, there is less of it. The number of tanks destroyed during all this time is approaching 10,000. They mainly use cars, buggies. They use them to land, deliver ammunition, personnel directly to the line of combat contact. And they use weather conditions, fog. They think that they are not seen, and in this way they move directly to the line of our positions. Tsekhotsky said, Russian forces have concentrated their main efforts on the Pokrovsk direction. The defense forces are inflicting losses on the Russian forces in personnel and equipment. This was reported by the spokesperson of the Operational and Strategic Group of Forces, Kortitsia, Lieutenant Colonel Nazar Voloshin, on Telegram. Voloshin noted that the Russian troops were actively conducting offensive operations in this area of Vodian Dru, Yelizavetivka, Mirol Lyubivka, Promin, Sukhi Yar, Serihivka, Udachny, Uspenivka, Novoaleksandrivka, Oleksiivka, Dachny, and Ulakli. He also reported that heavy fighting continued in Lysivka, Zeleny, Shevchenko, Novovasilivka, Nadiivka, and Yantany. The defense forces are inflicting losses on the enemy in personnel and equipment. Measures are being taken to prevent the deterioration of the tactical situation, he added. Additionally, he stated that in the Kramatorsk direction, the Russian forces stormed the defense forces' fortifications in Chasiv Yar in the areas of Bila Hora and Diliivka.
Fighters of the 73rd Center of the Ukrainian Special Operations Forces are planting landmines around the channels in the Dnieper River's islands in the direction of southern Kherson region, Telegram channels reported on Wednesday. The move is hampering the movement of Russian troops. The video showed a Russian boat explode on a mine. Ukrainian and Russian forces are locked in an ongoing fight over a series of small islands in the Dnieper River. Russia's control over the river will enable it intensify attacks on Ukraine's Kherson region. Ukrainian troops are in control of the right bank of the Dnieper River, while Russia has positions on the river's left bank. Ukrainian troops have conducted a series of successful operations on the eastern bank, with its drones striking Russian boats in the area. Kyiv hopes that establishing positions on the eastern side of the river could allow it to push on towards Russian-annexed Crimea. A magnitude 5.6 earthquake shook buildings in Taiwan on Thursday morning, as a series of tremors hit the island, causing little damage but possibly portending more seismic activity in the near future. According to Associated Press, the biggest of the quakes hit at 10:11 a.m. in Jiayi County's Dapu Township at a depth of 10 kilometers, according to the Central Weather Agency and the U.S. Geological Survey. The epicenter was about 250 kilometers south of the capital, Taipei, where buildings swayed slightly. That was followed shortly afterward by at least a dozen smaller quakes in Dapu. No damage or casualties were immediately reported. All were aftershocks from a magnitude 6.4 earthquake that struck Dapu on January 21 and sent 15 people to the hospital with minor injuries and damaged buildings and a highway bridge. In Tainan City, the outer wall on an abandoned building fell and hit 2 cars on the roadside, but no one was injured or trapped, local media reported. In Jiayi, rocks and boulders which fell from a mountain blocked a highway. A landslide occurred in the mountainous area of Nanshi district, in Tainan, and dust and sand were seen falling from the mountain. There are no reports of casualties so far. Taiwan is going through a period of increased seismic activity that could lead to further aftershocks or new quakes, according to the CWA and earthquake experts. Taiwan lies along the Pacific Ring of Fire, the line of seismic faults encircling the Pacific Ocean from Chile to New Zealand where most of the world's earthquakes occur.